Well, hello and welcome to day 16 of the 28 days of play. Today's prompt is an invitation to paint from edge to edge, to let your marks travel all the way across the page and fill the space in front of you. So if you're somebody who likes to leave a lot of white space, this might feel like a little bit of a stretch, but honestly, it's part of the play. I put out a little bit of a primary palette to work with here today. Honestly, I'm not sure if I'm gonna work totally with acrylic or not. I don't have a strong plan, which if you've been painting along with me now throughout the month, you'll realize I really rarely have a plan. So the one thing that I want to do is cross off day 16. So let's do that first. Edge to edge, paint it all. That is our mission today. So let's set that to the side. Which, by the way, if you're still wanting these prompts, just shoot me your email. My contact information is on my YouTube page. You can sign up for my newsletter, and I can get it to you in there, or you can visit me on socials and just comment February, and I'll get it to you that way as well. So, okay, moving on, painting edge to edge. So I picked up this calligraphy pen, and it was actually out of ink yesterday, and I don't usually use them a lot when I am working on paintings because the inks that come in them bleed when you get them wet. But I'm doing an experiment. I filled this one with India ink, which if you remember, when we did, what was that, day 13, where we used the black India ink and we were able to paint over it. That was really successful. So I am trying it on this piece of paper, and I'm going to use a little bit of spritz, although I did just do this a little bit. So the parts that I just did, and they're not dry completely, they're running a little bit, but the other bits over here are not bleeding. So that's a good test that it's really important that you want that to dry completely. So I am going to just pick up my pen because I love the marks that this makes. And I'm just going to let this wander across my page from edge to edge. And who knows what this is going to be. And who knows if it'll even show at the end, but it's okay. We are playing. Okay. That looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to make sure that this dries completely before I put any paint on it. I'm tempted, you guys, I'm tempted to start with a little bit of watercolor and then maybe move into some acrylic. I don't know, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So let me grab my watercolors real quick. So the nice thing about watercolor palettes is really all you need to do is to reactivate them. So what I do is I just spray a little bit of water on top of them, and then in just a few seconds they are ready to rock and roll. I now need to grab my paintbrushes. Sorry, I thought I had out what I wanted, and then my creative little voice took over and said, I don't know, Tish, I think you might want to start with watercolors today. So I'm going to look for a smaller brush to start with. But you know, it is so important that we listen to that voice. And I think that even if you're not creating for, to create some sort of masterpiece or whatever, it really is just such a wonderful practice to be able to learn to listen to that voice inside of you and then be able to respond to it. So it's kind of like we get more familiar with the voice when we have this daily practice of creating. I need a drink of coffee. That's better. Okay, So I am going to just start playing here. And who knows? I don't know what I'm doing. That's okay because we are playing. And when we play, just playing is enough. That's enough. It doesn't matter at the end of the day what we make as long as we are playing. I think adults don't play enough, you know? It's like you just want that time where you can just not have rules. There's too many rules. Too many rules. Although I'm kind of at that age in my life now where I'm like, screw your rules. Doing my own thing. Which is awesome. I'm embracing it 100%. So, as I'm creating these marks, the only thing I'm really thinking about is like creating variety through color, through scale, through shape. Anyway, I've said this before, but any way that you can create more variety in your piece, the more successful it will be. All right. Okay, so let's keep working at this. I took a little break to answer a phone call, but now I'm back. So I'm just making some little blobs of colors. Who knows, maybe these are like flowers that are growing on these little sticks, but I'm kind of enjoying like the juxtaposition of these little organic shapes versus the lines that we did initially with the India ink. So I'm just going to try and make some more colors over here. Maybe, should we add a little bit of purple? I just realized I think that's something Bob Ross used to do, where he'd like move the brush around and he'd be like, maybe. I'm channeling him today, I think. I have a little plushie of Bob Ross over there on my desk. I am not ashamed of that. Okay, let's see. I need a little more magic magenta. Some magenta magic. I'm using this weird palette today because I actually turned over yesterday's palette, so I'm using the back side, which is not the correct side to use, but that's okay. So I'm also playing with just kind of letting some of these colors overlap onto other parts of the flowers that are behind them. And I'm digging that. I like it, I like it. The reason this looks a little bit strange right here is because there's some acrylic paint, some white paint that was underneath of it. And so it's sort of like the watercolor is not absorbing into the paper. That's why it looks a little kooky. Little kooky. So I'm kind of liking that there's just the blue over here. I'm tempted to bring some over here, but then I feel like that's too much balance. I kind of am digging the asymmetry of it all. But maybe I want to bring a little bit more green down there. see what other colors I can bring in. Let's see, we did orange. I guess I could do a little more orange. Okay, I'm liking it, I'm liking it. So I think probably the last thing I'm gonna do, you guys know I like to put a little bit of blue inside of the flowers. So I'm just gonna do that in a couple spots. That looks good. Okay, I'm gonna give this a quick dry with a hair dryer and then we'll look at doing the background. Okay, so now let's start working on the background. And for the most part, I think I wanna let the flowers speak for themselves, but I am interested in painting in a background. And I'm trying to decide if I wanna do acrylic or if I want to do gouache. I think I'm gonna do acrylic because I already have paint out here and that's silly not to use it. So I think I'm gonna use a little bit of the glazing medium. Because I don't want to cover those beautiful black lines. Glazing medium, come out. There it goes. So I'm just going to kind of play with where this needs to go. I hear my crazy kids upstairs. They are home today for President's Day. I'm kind of using those lines as a way to make space for different colors behind. We'll see what that looks like. Let's put a little bit of, thinking like a lemony yellow might be good. But I need to get a little bit of white on my palette to kind of lighten up the value. So I'm going to do that, my yellow, and then some glazing medium. It's amazing how when you have a cold, it affects your voice so much. I found like, I feel like I've got like a squeaker, like every once in a while, like I'm going through like the change or something, like going through puberty all over again. Okay. So I'm gonna put some yellow through here. That kind of looks nice next to some of these purples. And it's okay if you don't get like every little area, but it's just the suggestion of color in the background. And it's all play. I don't know. It's just experimentation, trying to figure out if we like it, if we don't like it. So I think I'm going to do the same thing and go like a very light blue. Let's see what that looks like. Might have a little too much water in there. Doop. Let's get some more paint. Boop and boop. Felt like I just need to go like a hair darker. So I think I had told you guys I have a trimmer, so I always have to like hold this hand with my other hand to keep it steady when I do smaller work, which is okay. I've learned to embrace it. I kind of like the little wiggles and squiggles that my hands make. Now it's pretty close in color to some of these little like dit dots I made of watercolor that were kind of blue. So unfortunately those kind of get a little bit lost, but I think I can fix that by just maybe bringing in, let's bring in just a little bit darker color of watercolor on top of those. That way they won't get lost. That looks good. It's kind of fun thinking about painting edge to edge. The way that, you know, painting intuitively is so fun because it's like you're just responding to what's on the page. Like you don't have to have it all mapped out, so it just takes the pressure off where you can just show up and play. I want to make this green a little bit lighter. I felt like it was maybe a little too dominant over here. And then I'm going to move some of that green maybe up here. And I'm just going in and just lightening up. I was feeling like the yellow, the contrast between the yellow and the flowers over here wasn't quite as much as I would like. So just addressing that a little bit. But I think that is making me pretty happy right now. Let's maybe put a little bit of this yellow. There goes that trimmer again. Let's put a little bit of this yellow up here. It's that perfectly imperfect, you know? It's like, these are the things that we have to work with, but it's okay. It's also why the marks that you make are uniquely yours and the marks that I make are uniquely mine, right? We just embrace it all. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. That might be a garden that I'd like to hang out in. Let's hit it with a hairdryer and then we'll take the tape off. In case I haven't said it before, if you have trouble getting your tape off of your paper without it tearing, if you just hit it with a little bit of heat from a hairdryer or a heat gun, that usually does the trick. So. Oh guys, it looks so nice. I love it. Makes me very happy. I feel like adding one last thing, which is maybe just a few white lines going through. Just to sort of break up that space a little bit more. Perfect. Loving it. Okay. And then finally, we will sign. Okay, so when you're finished today, I just want you to pause for a minute and notice how it feels to have this space fully activated and alive. I will see you back for tomorrow's prompt. Let's get a sneak peek at it. Tomorrow's prompt is to create without fixing. So that's a hard one for all of us, right? Just to kind of let things stand and not change things as we go along. So that'll be an interesting one to play with for day 17. But for now, thanks so much for painting with me today. I really appreciate you taking the time for yourself, for the self-care to just nurture your creative spirit. Happy painting.